Hi everyone, welcome back to Reading the Signs Tarot. We're here today to talk about the full moon in Taurus on the 24th of October. And this is also known as the Hunter moon, which is quite spooky, I know, but if ever a moon represented a purge in your life, or a purge, I suppose, metaphorically speaking, in the world, this would be it. So beautiful Taurus, feminine, divine, feminine strength, feminine power, and the hunter has become the hunted. So we think about the last year in terms of Jupiter transiting Scorpio, the house of sex and rebirth and the unearthing of secrets. And we think of wide expansive Jupiter transiting there, the planet of fame. And we think about everything that's come out in the media. And now we're doing a Venus retrograde in Scorpio, which is only going to unearth some more secrets, especially where people have been romantically unfair. And we think about this full moon. It's the first full moon during this retrograde cycle. What's going to come out? Secrets. What is going to be revealed probably might surprise you or shock you. And this could be for the better. This could be for the worse. And that's why this is a trick or treat moon. So before you get scared, I want you to know that full moons are not as scary as they're portrayed in the media. They're actually all about release. And the reason they get such a bad rep is because around the time of a full moon, you can feel a little bit more emotional and things come to a head. It's the moon's way of letting go of what no longer serves you. And that's how society works. It's realizing what is working, what isn't working, and letting it go. Okay, now Taurus is a possessive sign, and fixed energy doesn't like to let go. And the reason I'm referring to this as a trick or treat type of moon is because what you let go of under a Taurus full moon will inevitably pick up something else. So Taurus likes to hold things in their hand. They like to have possessions. And if you let something go with this full moon, chances are you pick up something quite quickly. You pick up a replacement quite quickly. You pick up something that replaces what you have in a very different yet fulfilling way. It is all about, releasing in order to begin again, which is the circle of life, without sounding too much like Mufasa. Taurus being a possessive time, this may be, under the Hunter moon, the time when you finally claim something that is rightfully yours. So something finally manifests in terms of a material possession. Something, financially speaking, manifests. Now, under a Venus retrograde cycle, it may not be exactly as you expected. Particularly if you've been trying to manifest something financially speaking, this could be somewhat different to the sum of money you tried to manifest when the new moon was in Taurus 6 months ago. It could be a bit different. Things will have changed, and Uranus conjuncting the moon will bring you some sort of surprise to whatever it is that you have been manifesting. So it's manifesting with a twist, something that could be quite exciting, but it could also be something that's really quite different. So for Taurus energy, letting go does not come naturally. But what you do let go of, you may find that it is actually what has been blocking you from manifesting what it is that you wanted. Even in practices such as feng shui, they say when one wants to attract a partner, they have to clear out half their wardrobe in order to make space for that partner, which may be why I'm single, but because it is all about making space for a person in your life, and the full moon is serving as something quite similar. It is all about making space for something that you really want by releasing something which you may think you want, but it doesn't necessarily serve you. And with Uranus, the element of surprise may suddenly creep up on you in a way that you didn't see coming, or something finally arrives to you in a way that you really didn't expect. So that's the thing about trick-or-treating. You go around door to door saying trick or treat, and you don't know what you're gonna get. Most of the time you just get sweets or candy or whatever you want to call it, because people are scared of getting their house egged. But the universe doesn't act that way. It's not scared of you. It's working with you. It wants to reward you, but sometimes you have to make a bit of a compromise in terms of dead energy, negative energy. That's the thing about the Hunter moon. You have to be able to go after what you want without other things weighing you down. So you will not leave this full moon empty-handed. If anything, I think it's probably going to be pretty nice surprises for everybody concerned. But I'm also saying that I'm going to go into each sign individually and see, using major arcana, what the trick or treat is for each sign effectively. Just bear in mind with this Hunter moon, it is going to charge you to go after what it is that you want. But as I say, you have to be wary of what you're carrying with you, whether it is something, an attitude, or a belief, a self-limiting belief. Could be anything. It could be something, you know, like meaningless tack within your house. Really unnecessary items that have no value. Or it could be, as I say, making room for somebody else if that's what you want to manifest. But the thing about this full moon is that it's going to be a bit more surprising than the other full moons have been. And we've had a lunar eclipse this year in Aquarius. But Aquarius is still having a bit of an influence here with the Uranus energy conjuncting the moon. So this might surprise you. I'm excited to get into each card and see what it brings for each sign and what this little guy is going to bring you. You're not going to leave this full moon empty-handed, guys, so I hope you enjoy the messages that are coming forward, and I'll speak to you in a minute. Bye. Okay, so Taurus, this full moon is occurring in your first house of self. Your self-beliefs, your self-confidence, the limitations you impose on yourself, what your beliefs are about yourself, how you're viewing yourself. So this could be a pretty eye-opening full moon for you. You only get one full moon a year in your sign. And this could be very illuminating of certain behaviors you've outgrown, certain ideas about yourself. Limiting self-beliefs are very likely to come up. You might be feeling a little bit shaken up in terms of confidence in the way you view yourself. You may also do something very surprising to others under this full moon with Uranus there. You might suddenly decide to leave something that's steady, and that's not like you. You might suddenly decide to shake things up. You might do something very surprising. When it's in your first house, it can be a very, very introspective energy, and you may be feeling a little bit off in the run-up to the full moon because you're dealing with excess energy. It's a great time to meditate and direct that energy as storage. Things that you need to store to keep yourself going in times when you've lower energy. It's good to redirect that energy and really focus on what the full moon is trying to tell you, because it could be giving you some very interesting dreams, and it could be giving you some very interesting signs. There's no such thing as coincidence. I think Einstein said that there's no such thing as coincidence. So pay attention to what the universe is actually trying to tell you, Taurus. And let's see what your major arcana is. Temperance. Healing energy, finding balance. Very interesting after the Libra new moon on the 9th of October, 8th or 9th of October, finding balance, finding a change in perspective. Healing outgrown attitudes and healing your relationship with yourself. Bear in mind, Temperance is fire sign energy. It may be finding healing with the fire sign person. It is combining the fire and the water aspects of self, your passion and your emotion. What links both for you? What is it that will fulfill you? Do more of that. What is it that you've been doing too much of or too little of? Balance it out. Now bear in mind that Libra also shares Venus as a ruler. You may find comfort in fellow Venusian people. Okay, so it's a time to get clarity of thought. And as I said about dreams, really pay attention to what your dreams are telling you, what your emotions are telling you. You're going to have some major breakthroughs under this transit that might surprise you. And I'm thinking with Temperance, it's going to be a nice surprise. And it's going to be one that's very healing. And you're going to be feeling an incredible calm after this full moon has passed, okay? So Gemini. This is occurring in your 12th house. Ooh. It's an intense energy, 12th house energy. I'm Scorpio and I'm going through the Libra energy at the minute, and it's tricky. Whenever there's a full moon in your 12th house, it can really draw attention to certain subconscious behaviors and secrets. The 12th house is a secretive area in the sky, and I want to say this: Geminis don't like that. Geminis don't like secrets. They can't keep them, for one. And they don't like other people keeping them because they just want to know. They're kind of like Scorpios in that way. They have to know. But the way a Gemini wants to know is slightly more trivial than a Scorpio person. The thing is, Gemini, what comes up is inevitably going to be something surprising, and it could be something within you that you didn't realize you had. It could be a feeling or an idea or an inspiration for you that you didn't realize you had. And in the 12th house, it may make you realize something was hurting you more than you were letting on. It may make you realize that you had a secret of your own that you're finally ready to tell. Judgment. Yeah, something's coming out. The truth is coming out. The truth will prevail. And as I mentioned, Scorpio energy, the need to know secrets. Judgment is a Scorpio card. Maybe you want to know a secret about a Scorpio. Good luck with that. They're not easy. The Judgment energy is telling you that it's time to finally get some closure on a situation. Possibly drudging up something from the past. Venus is retrograding. Could be something or someone that comes out of the blue. This could be a call out of the blue for you. Judgment oftentimes represents hearing from something or someone that you thought was gone. You know, someone that wasn't physically dead, but maybe wasn't present in your life, so they were sort of a ghost. Could be pretty surprising, Gemini. That's an interesting one. I like that as a card. Judgment is a great trick-or-treat card. Okay. Cancer. Hello. So Cancer, this is in your 11th house. Friendships. What's going to come out about your friends? What's going to come out about the people you socialize with? A secret may come out from a friend that you really weren't expecting. Someone might tell you something that really floors you. A close friend that you thought you knew very well, or a friend you're only getting to know, suddenly confides in you something large, something massive, something spectacular. Something that you really weren't expecting, I don't think, Cancer. I think it's something that could really bring you closer to another person, or it could give you a completely different perspective on someone that you thought you knew. Someone in your closest circle, or someone that you socialize with on the regular. It could also draw a friendship to a close. Full moons can do that when they happen in your friendship sector. You may realize you've outgrown somebody, or, you know, in the lead up to that moon, you may realize someone wasn't treating you well enough to keep in your closest circle. And Cancers, they like to hold on to the people they care about, but sometimes it's better to shift the energy and start over. You know, a harmful relationship makes no sense to carry on. Ooh, the High Priestess. Could be a Pisces. This is telling you to trust your intuition. What's coming out around this full moon will serve you well. Listen to your intuition. Something may come out that you had an inkling about, but it may not come out in the way that you expected it to automatically. Planet of surprise, intuition. You were onto something, you had a lead, you had a trail, but it might not be exactly what you're expecting. We can see the crescent moon here. So what happens between this full moon and the next new moon could definitely be something that you had an inkling was coming. Listen to your dreams as well. I know I said that for Taurus, but the High Priestess, very much listening to your intuition, what your dreams are telling you. You might have some very funky dreams under this full moon that you really want to interpret. Look out for signs from the universe. As I said to Taurus, there's no such thing as coincidence, okay? So Leo, this is in your 10th house of career. And what this brings you might be closure in a career setting. It might be deciding to do something completely different. It might be deciding that you have to change your attitude to the way you perceived your career. Something very surprising in terms of an opportunity may arise under this full moon for you, Leo, in the workplace that you weren't expecting. Now, it's also the House of Honors. You may be winning an award for something. Your achievements may be coming to the fore. Magician energy. Something amazing is going to happen under this full moon for you in your career. So That's a treat. Making things happen. You're going to see something manifest under this full moon that you've wanted for quite a while, Leo. That's positive. This is something that you've been dreaming of, something that you've asked the universe for, and something with longevity, because I noticed a little infinity sign above the Magician. You are a jack of all trades in your career at the moment. There's nothing you can't do for anybody else. There's nothing anyone can ask of you that you cannot do under this full moon. You're going to be feeling very prestigious. You're going to be having clarity, and you're going to be feeling empowered and charged to do whatever it is that you want to do. Even if it's something completely out of the blue for everyone else, seems a bit left field, you're going to be doing it and you're going to be making it happen. A lot of trust in you for this, Leo. This looks like a very interesting full moon. And I think you're going to be having a real conversation with yourself about, could you be doing more? Could you be doing better? Are you putting your talents to good use? And are you being recognized where you are? Because there's recognition coming through. There's awards, there's honors. Pretty nice. Now, Virgo, this is in your 9th house of philosophy, travel, expansion. This full moon could make you aware that you've not traveled enough. It could make you aware that you've not been open-minded enough to a situation. Maybe you have not been open-minded enough in a relationship. Maybe you're going to try something very new and very unlike you. So if you are a monogamous Virgo, I just think with Venus retrograding and this energy, you might try dating more than one person at once. If you've never tried that before, you may try dating someone outside your comfort zone, dating someone completely different. Be safe with that. Just know that the people that you choose under a Venus retrograde may not be necessarily the people you want to stay with long term. The people that you date may be completely different. And this full moon is going to shake things up in that area for you. So you're being open-minded. You're opening your mind to different experiences, Virgo, as long as you stay safe. You may also hear of an opportunity to travel. Maybe somewhere really exotic or somewhere really different. Planet Uranus could maybe throw... It could maybe throw a very alternative opportunity your way in terms of country to visit. So somewhere maybe that you say you want to go to, and other people are like, why? Why do you want to go there? Because you feel like it. Just do it. You feel like it. Something could be very, very, very shaken up in terms of your way of thinking. You might encounter a person that's very philosophical. You might encounter a person that changes the way you see the world. You may read a book that changes the way you see your world. 9th house energy is a great time for buying books. Reading something new. You're going to be more open-minded than usual, Virgo. So let's see what major arcana we have for you. Oh! The Empress. Treat. So the Empress is someone that's very well admired. This could be a person coming into your life that has it all, that you can take something from. The Empress is also Taurus energy and it's Venus energy. So this transit is actually possibly bringing back somebody from your past who had a very different background to you, had a very different upbringing, had a very different way of looking at the world. It could be somebody that you find incredibly attractive. It could be somebody that finds you incredibly attractive. Venus is making her mark here. Okay, so it's in Scorpio, which of course is also fixed sign energy. I do feel like someone you've been holding on to may very well return or make communication, because Scorpio is your 3rd house, the number 3 we have here. We have Venus in Scorpio, 3rd house, communication. Hearing from somebody that you weren't expecting to hear from the past. And I do think this person may have a very different outlook on life, and maybe that was the problem. Maybe that's why it ended. Or maybe distance. Maybe they lived in a foreign country. Something about that could be wrapping up for the better, Virgo. Now, Libra. So Libra, this is your 8th house energy. This is other people's money. It can be secrecy. Much like the 12th house, I think the 8th house and the 12th house have very strong connections. It can be very much about the unknown, other people's secrets, other people's financial situations, money that you didn't know you had. It can be finance. And it can be your dark side. So this full moon for you could possibly be quite... You may shock yourself in terms of your unusual sarcasm. You might be feeling slightly Scorpiophonic under this. Yeah. Death card. This is the 8th house energy. This is Scorpio energy. You could be dealing with a Scorpio person under this full moon in Taurus, Libra. And maybe that's what the 8th house is for you. It's about wrapping up loose ends. There's going to be a closure here. Something has to die off for something to begin again. Maybe it is a perspective. 8th house could be a secret that you've been holding on to for far too long. It could be a personality trait that you have been burying. It could be a secret that you've been burying. Something you've kept deep within yourself that needs to be released and it needs to be let go of. Death card is very much that phoenix rising from the ashes. It's also very much don't flog a dead horse. If something isn't working, Libra, under Venus retrograde and under this full moon, and with the death card, it's going to have to be let go of. Whether it's an attitude or something physical, maybe you have to let go of. A coat you've had for 20 years that's just done. You know, it's comfortable, but it's done. Could be something as small as that. I know it's very trivial, but something, Libra, has got to give. What it is something that you will know. Whether it's an attitude, a belief, a relationship that's been outgrown, something just needs to disperse into the ether for something better to come in. And that's the thing about this full moon as well. What, you know, Taurus is possessive. What we let go of can be replaced by something better. And that's exactly what Death card tells you. So, Scorpio, this is your 7th house of partnerships. So, who's going to make the cut? Who's going to be there and who's not going to be there? Shock return, maybe. Venus retrograding, Uranus in your 7th house, the moon in 7th house, shock return of someone you didn't expect. Shock secret comes out. Something or, well, someone is going to be very significant under this full moon. Maybe the way you view partnerships, maybe you suddenly decide to change it. Maybe you finally get closure to a relationship you've been holding on to for far too long. It's very much like Libra in the 8th house energy. But this is so exact for partnerships. This is so letting go of that negative belief that you don't deserve love, or you're secretly a commitment phobe, so you're dating commitment phobes because it's easier. You're running away from love because you're scared, even though you know that the other person isn't going to hurt you. I mean, who knows that for sure, but the other person's a decent person, so you could be taking a risk. Or maybe the other person's not a decent person and you're willing to let them go. So what is it, Scorpio? This full moon is going to be very, very enlightening. And interestingly enough, no major arcanas are jumping for you. So I'm intrigued. It's going to be a surprise, I think. Uranus there. Oh. Hierophant. I'm sensing some shock engagements or shock eloping for some Scorpios. I'm also thinking some of you under this full moon energy may meet somebody. Now, this is not a usual occurrence during a Venus retrograde period, but heck, it's in your sign, so what goes, goes. But some of you might be meeting the person that you're going to marry between this full moon and the new moon in Taurus, which I think will be April next year. So in the next 5 to 6 months, some of you could be meeting the person you're going to marry. Under this full moon, I think you're questioning a commitment, or you're suddenly getting a commitment, one or the other. Something about this seems pretty stable. It's a stabilizing force. But the Hierophant can be very controlling energy. So it's a need to let go of the control that you have over another person, or the control over a situation, or lack thereof. Because what makes Scorpio people uncomfortable and very misunderstood is the need to control certain situations and certain relationships. And that's not seeking to benefit you, Scorpio. Release a bit of attachment and you may find more stability on the other side. So by opening up and releasing the need to control, you get this stabilizing force. Easier said than done, I know. But I think this is going to be a pretty nice surprise, because the Hierophant is a pretty good partnership card. It's a stabilizing force, and considering we're going through a full moon in your partnership sector and Uranus is there, which is a little bit unpredictable, the Hierophant's a good card to get. In fact, Scorpio, I wouldn't have picked another one for you. Now, Sagittarius, 6th house energy, health, day-to-day work. Full moon can maybe make you realize you've put on a few pounds and you need to lose them. That's what happened with my last full moon. Full moon in Aries was in my 6th house, and I was like, oh, I need to lose some weight, or I need to be a bit more healthy, I need to exercise more. You know, little things like that. You can realize your health is maybe playing up a little bit. You can just illuminate little things like that. Nothing major, but with Uranus there, it can be somewhat of a, you know, it could be a little bit of a shock to the system. Maybe you have been neglecting your body too much. Maybe you have been overindulging as a way of coping with emotions. Maybe you've been underindulging. Maybe you've not been eating enough. It's a good time to think about what it is that you're doing that affects your health. Maybe you've been traveling. Maybe you've been working too hard. Ooh, now you also got the Hierophant. So you're seeking some order in your day-to-day activities, in your work, your health. Maybe some of you are finding that you are not spiritually nourished. So you need to be doing a bit more meditating, a bit more research. Or maybe you need to commit to a health plan. I'm saying that, and I'm trying to consider this with Venus in retrograde. For those of you that have health insurance, it may be a time to really revise your policy, maybe a time to really get all your books in order. And I know that Sagittarians can find that a little bit mundane. It's a good full moon to do some spot checks, because this can be, yes, unpredictable energy. The Hierophant's great because it gives a stabilizing force. But in terms of your health, you don't want to take any gambles, you know. You want to be Hierophant in terms of your health. You want to be ordered and organized. Otherwise, you can feel a little bit out of whack. Okay, Sagittarius. So make sure you've got all your ducks in a row in terms of your health, especially if it's to do with money. Now, Capricorn, this is in your 5th house of romance and play and fun and children. So if any of you guys have kids that you're taking trick-or-treating, you may feel like a kid in a candy store. It's all about having fun. This full moon is about having fun. Now, this is very interesting because to have Uranus there, it's you really let loose at an event around this time, Capricorn. You might drink a little bit too much. You might have a bit too much fun in terms of the next day. You're feeling a bit, but this is a great time to just let loose and enjoy yourself. Okay, and I'm being honest with you. I think some of you guys with the Saturn transit and Pluto in your sign and that Mars energy in your sign that was going on over the summer, you're a bit burnt out in certain circumstances and a little bit wobblier than you would like to be. And I think this is the full moon where you really let loose. You really let go. You really have some much needed playtime. You might get a nice surprise in terms of a message from a lover, an ex-lover maybe with Venus retrograde, but you're something surprising in terms of affairs of the heart. But I think it'll be light relief anyway. So it could be a surprise trip with your partner. It could be a surprise call from somebody that you've dated before. If you're single, it could be meeting somebody new that's great fun. Maybe not long term on paper with Venus retrograde, but sure. That full moon is all about being creative and having a good time and really nourishing your inner child, listening to your inner child, going out on a whim, doing something ridiculous, eating your body weight in sweets that you trick-or-treat, going trick-or-treating yourself. I mean, you might get some funny looks. You definitely get some funny looks depending on what age you are, Capricorn, but sure, Capricorn ages in reverse, gets younger in your mind as you get older. This is a very fun full moon for you, and it's a full moon gifted by the sun. This is going to be a really nice full moon for you, I think. Maybe you decide to let go of restraint for the night. Maybe you decide to let go of acting your age. And Uranus rewards you by dancing with you and giving you some sort of nice surprise, Capricorn, I think. So Aquarius, this is in your 4th house of home. If you've bought a new house, if you're living in a new house, you might suddenly find something that surprises you. It might be something about your contract that you didn't see before. It might be a family member shows up and tells you something very unexpected. Somebody could be unexpectedly pregnant under this full moon. You may find out that somebody suddenly got married. Something shocking and unexpected. Now, Uranus is your ruler, though, Aquarius. So you go well with surprises for being a fixed sign. You're still a fixed sign. You need security. You need stability. But you enjoy a good surprise more than anybody else. And you enjoy shocking people more than anybody else. So maybe you shock your family and move. Maybe you shock your family and elope. Maybe you shock your family by just being yourself, because Aquarians kind of love a shock factor. I have a feeling this is a lot to do with your interpersonal relationships and your home. Maybe you suddenly paint your walls pink when they were white before, or you suddenly draw a big rainbow on the wall. Actually, Aquarius, bear in mind that whatever shock you make in your home is probably temporary, because Venus is retrograding in Scorpio. And when Venus retrogrades, the changes we make to our aesthetic can be not so appealing after Venus has gone direct. Okay, so let's see what we've got for Aquarius. Ooh, a shock move. Suddenly, maybe you move to a different city, a different state, a different country. Maybe you apply for a visa. A shock trip. Booking a shock holiday. Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising. A surprise completion of a project ahead of time. Something very large with the World card here. It's very living big energy. Could involve the other fixed signs. Scorpio, Taurus, yourself, or Leo. Something's coming to a conclusion under this full moon, and I think it is a conclusion that is very short-lived, and you are suddenly immersed in a brand new cycle before you know it. You've just changed. This is a very, very big full moon for you, Aquarius. But what could it be? I'm actually hoping that whenever this full moon has passed, whatever it is that's changed for you guys, you'll let me know in the comments, because I'm nosy about these things. So when I see Aquarius is going to do something big and shocking, I want to know. My moon's in Aquarius, and that card resonates very much with something that I've just done. So I kind of understand what a lot of you could be doing, but we'll see. So Pisces. This is your 3rd house of communication. So what do we need to know about this full moon for you? Well, shock messages, shock discussions, shock realizations, something that you really weren't expecting to happen happens in terms of your phone going off or your email going off. Something comes through message-wise, I think, Pisces, that you maybe weren't expecting, and it could be a very, very cathartic message. It could be something that you really needed to hear. It could be from somebody that you really needed to hear from. It could be hearing about somebody that you really needed to know about. Maybe you needed to know someone was okay, or you needed to know that someone had moved on. It's a communication. It's a message. And this could be to do with siblings as well, Pisces. So if you have strained relationships with your siblings, maybe you've been fighting a lot leading up to the full moon, brings it to a conclusion. Something is going to come to your attention, whether it's online, whether it's through the phone, or it's word of mouth, that could give you closure in a situation, but it may also bring new beginnings. But we'll know through the cards, right, Pisces? See what it is for you. It's sort of, for me, looking like a judgment energy. As I think about it, the third house full moon. Ooh, it's death. Similar. Death and judgment are pretty similar. So a conclusion to something, closure from communication. May also be a Scorpio person. Bear in mind, Pisces, we are in Scorpio season. You may reach out to a Scorpio person for their birthday. You may hear from them over their birthday. You might get closure in a situation. So somebody might... Death card actually can be someone from the past returning, I think, because it's someone, you know, coming from the underworld and bringing a message of some kind. But it is a closure. It is a transition. Bear in mind, Pisces, when you see the death card, because a lot of people find it scary. And it's just Scorpio energy, really. And I saw this Instagram post, I think it was by, is it Badass Astrology? And it said, Scorpios are just Pisces with a chip on their shoulder. And I am a Scorpio, so I laughed very hard at that. But it's not to be feared. Scorpio energy is not to be feared. You're Pisces. You've lived through it all. You are the 12th house. You get it. You get the changes. You ride with the changes. You get the transitions. And I don't think this is going to be necessarily a bad thing, a bad closure. But with Uranus, it may be that you really thought you had something figured out. You really thought you'd closure in a situation, and then it reappears. You may feel like you really had hoped something wouldn't happen, and if it happens, you don't care. You're okay. There's a release with this full moon, I think, Pisces, so it can only be a good thing. Now, Aries. Second house of finance full moon. Whoosh. Are your finances in order? You may find that you have money that you didn't realize you had, because with the sun is in Scorpio, 8th house energy. You may find that you had money come in unexpectedly. You may find that you had, God forbid, been losing money and not realized because you've not been keeping enough check on your finances. So it also rules self-worth. And Aries typically has a very strong sense of self, your first house energy, but it may make you feel a little bit wobbly. You may be thinking about the way you spend, because Venus is retrograding. Maybe big, massive spends aren't benefiting you. Maybe your money's not making you happy anymore and you need to look elsewhere. But there's an element of wish fulfillment with this full moon, Aries. There's a renewal, there is a restoring of faith and a restoring of hope. So maybe after the full moon in your sign, you're actually feeling a little bit recharged. But with the star card, a lot of this is very solo energy. So what are you giving to yourself that makes your life better? What are you adding to yourself that you're not relying on other people to do so? Okay? Investing your money. Manifesting money. There could be a sum of money coming in, actually, Aries. I am thinking that with the full moon. It could be a pretty good time to invest some money into projects. invest some of your money into yourself, but in terms of your spiritual self, not in terms of keeping up with the Joneses or looking like a celebrity. Do you know what I mean? It's a good time to really reassess your relationship with your money and what it can do for you on an enriching level rather than just spending to make yourself happy, because with Venus retrograde, spending isn't going to make you happy. And to have your full moon of the year there when Venus is retrograding can sound like a bit of a bummer, but it's not. It's the full moons are all about releasing certain ideals and expectations. Maybe you have been trying too hard to appear like you have it all together and that you're making loads of money and that money is the be all to end all, and this gives you a chance to pause and reflect on what money really means for you and how much more comfortable you are having it in the bank rather than on your arm. So I hope everyone enjoyed that full moon video. There are going to be mid-monthly readings going up in the next couple of days for October, and I hope you all have a fantastic full moon and a wonderful Halloween, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!